What's up guys, my name's Jonathan and thank you for tuning in to part 2 of how to build a swivel gun. So in case you didn't catch part 1, I'm going to link it up here somewhere. This is about where we left off on the build process. We had just attached the end cap to this barrel, put the barrel bands on, and kind of polished it up to make it look a little better. So in this episode we're going to be drilling the touch hole, adding our trunnions, and proofing the swivel gun with its first shots. So let's get right to it. So if you recall from episode 1, our touch hole was basically just a giant square that we cut through all the layers of pipe. So we're going to go ahead and fill that in with weld. So you can see the hole there, and we're going to go ahead and fill it all the way in with weld, and basically fill it all the way back up to the top where we started at, and make it level across the top of the barrel again. Then we're going to sand all that smooth, and then we'll mark it and drill through. So here's that giant square hole filled in completely with weld, and now we're going to sand it smooth. And speaking of, here it is sanded completely smooth. So now we're just going to take a punch and mark the center hole of where we want to drill our touch hole. And then we're going to take it to the drill press and drill completely through. So you can see our nicely punched hole there where the touch hole will end up being. And here's the barrel up on the drill press. We added a couple of drops of cutting fluid there so it doesn't get too hot. So just take it slow, be careful, don't put too much pressure on it. Take your time and keep adding cutting fluid, and you'll be through in no time. So now that the touch hole is finished, it's going to be time to add the trunnions, and we're basically going to clamp the barrel down to the table so it won't move around, so we can get the trunnions stable and steady and straight on the sides of the barrel. So you can see we've got our center line marked where our trunnions are going to be, and we've got our frame tacked down to the table so we can go ahead and weld the trunnions on. So now that we've got our trunnions cleaned up and centered top to bottom, we're going to add a little side brace so they won't move left to right, tack that down, and then we're going to go ahead and weld all the way around the trunnions. And here's the trunnions welded on. Now we've got to clean them up, cut them to size, and then we can go ahead and build the frame so we can shoot the swivel gun. And here it is, our finished swivel gun, stand and all. So this is going to be our very first shot of proofing the swivel gun. We've got 1,200 grains of powder in this. There's no projectile, however it does have a hot dog bun packed down on top of it incredibly tightly to help increase the pressure. We've also got a really long fuse, so we're taking cover behind a car and a building in the background that you guys can't see. So 1,200 grains of powder here. We're going to be shooting 200 grains regularly, so this is way more pressure than this thing will ever be exposed to on a regular basis. So let's see how it does when it's set off in just a second. So now we're thoroughly going to inspect the barrel and make sure that everything looks good, and drop it down to 600 grains of powder with another hot dog bun, and then if that survives, we'll add a live projectile. So the second 600 round dry fire went perfectly fine. So now we're going to add our first projectile, that's our inch projectile ball there, with 600 grains of powder, and touch this off. And there you go guys, a successful first live fire and a successful build on our swivel gun. So I'm sorry this was a little shorter guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again guys, my name's Jonathan, thanks for hanging around here till the end, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of The Cannoneer.